esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion, and calculation.
Get behind me.
The winners match of this series, Xixo versus Lostov. Almost a complete mirror here. We have the mid hunter, the druid, and the warlock for Lostov, and Xixo with the mid warlock, the druid, and the patron. Should be an exciting match here coming up. The handlock for Lostov. I think overall, in this case, it will be mostly about Xixo getting that win with the patron, but it feels like the handlock almost has a free win in this series.
Yeah, it's the Handlock and the Patron. Those are the two decks that really stand out against these opponents, because if the Handlock manages to queue into the Patron Warrior, it'll look really good for him. But I think another thing Lostov could consider, although this is very circumstantial, is saving the Handlock for last. So if he was managed to get maybe a win or two now and have the Handlock in the back, he'd almost guarantee to win the series against the Patron. But it looks like he's queued the Handlock first, and Xixo's queued the Patron first. So it's the matchup we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's really bad news for Xixo. But the worst match you could hope for. I think Xixo should have probably stuck with the Patron last.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to beat. He needs his Handlock to either win. Well, yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to. He needs a Handlock to win, really, to protect his Patron deck. Not saying that he should throw a game, obviously, but it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen to him. But it looks like you can't see Lostov's hand just yet. Okay, so he's got two Drakes.
Hand, yeah.
2 Drakes and a coin, though. That's surely a pretty good start for him.
I think the biggest thing that shouts out to me is the no taunt, really, in Lostov's hand. But we look at the scenario, though. Xixo going for the Patron now. I mean, if he loses to the Handlock, he's essentially throwing away a chance of beating the Handlock with, let's say, a Druid. So if he would have waited with the Patron till last, which I think Patron is probably his last deck, I think it would have been better, because he really has the best chance probably against the Hunter with the Patron. Maybe do okay against the Druid. I mean, he did beat Druid so far with the Patron, but now in this case it gets a bit tough. I think Dark Form will have to come down. It's going to be stronger than the the Twilight deck, but it comes down to the scenario that if you have the coin as the Patron, you can easily afford to, I guess, lose on the Acolyte. But Xixo doesn't have the coin. He has just one less card in hand, so losing out on the draw is a bigger deal. So I like Lostov's play of just denying the draw right off the bat there.
Yeah, that Dark Bomb was really good for him. Looking at Xixo there, all he could do was armor up for turn 4, which is just not great. And he still gets that Twilight Drake a turn later, but at least he doesn't have Xixo getting his draw engine going. And this 4-9 is going to be a bit of a threat here, unless he wants to use an Execute. But I doubt he will. Handlock has way too many threats other than the Twilight Drakes to deal with.
This is the god hand for Emperor Thorson. I cannot believe how insane Xixo's draw has been this game. This couldn't get any better, possibly. I think, save for maybe a second execute in the next turn. But think about it, he's gonna get Patron with a charge, with the battle rage, with a free double whirlwind and an inner rage. I think this is gonna be just too much, literally.
You don't think the oh yeah, well yeah, I can see the Shadow Flame though. He's got
a second execute. Wow. Sorry, the Shadow Flame will clear it up, but I mean, the scenario of the burst potential will be a full board, and there's full board taking out 2 free minions, getting a free battle rate. He's gonna draw like 7 cards after dumping all of this. This is gonna be too much, I think. Yeah, sorry for that.
So playing Dr. Boom now probably isn't that great if he knew what Xixo had. Would you agree?
I definitely agree with that, but I mean, what are the other options really? He can't go for nothing here. I think he may be forced to go for it. I think the other scenario, other than Dr. Wu, would just be tapping.
Hopefully,
He'll
get an
want to
Argus.
kill the Emperor. Yeah, he'll want to kill the Emperor for sure, though.
Tapping as an Argus is risky business, though. What else could he get from a tap that would be efficient?
Mortal Coil would be decent. Dark Bomb would work. No, Dark Bomb kind of wouldn't work, I guess. You could just tap, silence, and go for the Twilight Drake, but I kind of don't mind this, yeah.
The thing is, the boom is just so tempting. A 6-mana boom, and we all know the power of this card. And yeah, it's just it looked like the only efficient way for him to play. But obviously, he doesn't have the knowledge that we have as casters. And Xixo's hand right now. Wow, let's see what he can create with this monstrosity of a deck.
So we're looking at a full board of patrons, probably about 6 or 7 draw. All of Lostov minions just being demolished. Think about this, is almost like a twisting nether with a free board. Maybe 20 mana in value or something with all that draw actually.
Unless the boombot hits the Warsong Commander.
That'd be the worst scenario. Does kill 2 of them here. I think maybe Whirlwind would be the way to go here. Wouldn't mind that. I'm going for face first, yeah, so go for the Whirlwind.
Time is running out. He's gonna get 2 more patrons with this bomb. This bomb needs to hit the Warsong Commander. Oh, well, I think it makes no difference now, does it? Because he's
It actually did hit the Warsong Commander, wow.
Xixo has to play really fast here to keep up the rope.
The expected mode is always slightly behind, so that's likely he did get both of them off. Got only 3 draw from the scenario, so technically he can clear this. Hellfire it's big, but it's still risky. Let's look at the scenario. Yeah, we have Twilight Drake, Ancient Watcher, and Shadow Flame possible.
But if he plays Hellfire, he can play the Twilight Drake.
Technically, yeah, but I mean, I feel like 3 health at this point is going to be a lot for Lostov to throw away. I think Shadow Flame is probably stronger with the Ancient Watchers, both 4 mana. As, I mean, there's no taunt available, it's only the heal bot. He doesn't really want to tap at this point. So that's what I would have done, I would do in this case at least. It's a tough call though.
Let's see. Okay, so yeah, he's going for the Shadow Flame, yeah. So he values the health, like you say, and once he becomes a little bit more healthy from maybe a heal bot or 2, the Hellfire can play a better role in clearing the board later on.
I think this Deathspite might be quite threatening here. Let's say 1 Warsong Commander in this game is just wide open. It's a bad scenario for Xixo in general, but he's actually ahead, I feel, in this game with the lack of taunt here. Let's go for the Twilight Drake, don't mind that.
Oh, another heal bot. Okay, so he's got a lot of healing. Do you slam Rag here?
I think it's either Rag or tap heal bot. Rag is riskier. Basically, you die if there's a second Warsong, but I mean, you can have to take a risk at some point, and I don't mind the Rag here, actually, yeah.
Would you drop the Zombie Chow with it, though? That's the question.
Probably yes, actually.
He's on 28 health. It's just another body to contest whatever he decides to play. So him gaining any more health. Well, actually, at this point, if he gained 2 health, it makes his battle rages more inefficient, I suppose. But I don't think that's really something to consider that important. That's not too important to consider right now.
Probably not. A lot of them are cutting the second battle rates at this point. So I think because he drew the Mountain Giant, he wants to keep the Zombie Chow in hand. It's a bit of an interesting scenario. You have to kind of keep on drawing. There's only 1 Warsong left in the deck. Slam is okay, not too great.
The thing is, Xixo had that big Patron board that Hearthstone let him pull off, and overall, I think Lostov has kind of brought himself back a bit now. It wasn't as effective as it could have been, I don't think, because now he has to rely on another Patron board, drawing another Patron board to probably win this game.
it seems to be in general you aren't supposed to be able to clear a huge patron board like that, but Handlock has all of the answers in general. The frothing turn though with the whirlwind can easily be 20 damage, so he's actually not safe without a taunt in this case. If let's say one war song could just blow this wide open, but it's kind of been stagnating for Xixo. He has drawn mediocre cards turn after turn here, so I think I kind of like maybe Rag killing one of the Nomis Inventors. Just tap, okay. Mortal Coil not too bad.
Yeah, Mortal Coil lets him clear up both of them for definite there. And he can still drop the Giants as well. If he wanted to. Oh, so he just goes for Rag. Would you rather Mortal Coil Giant there?
I think so, yeah. I mean, thing is, if you're gonna, get a Big Game Hunter or an Execute out, I guess he's already used to Execute, so he doesn't feel, it doesn't really feel like he's afraid of a Big Game Hunter at this point. Maybe if he was playing it without any Execute being played, he would rather go with the Mountain Giant to try to soak up that Execute, but with 2 Executes played, I think he just feels like, okay, I'll just throw out the Ragnaros anyway, but the Big Game Hunter should be coming down, Grim Patron being drawn, but no War Song. He'll fill up the board, but he'll be quite sad to see the Hellfire going. I think Xixo at this point it'll come down to, does he want to risk Lostov having no AoE?
Do you think, okay, so if he was to play Frothing Berserker here and go for the clear with the Big Game Hunter, that might bait out a Hellfire here. Do you think
Absolutely,
that's
yeah.
efficient play? I mean, you're going to value your patrons because you've got another Frothing. You've only got, this is your last patron. So I think it might have been worth just trying to bait out something like a Hellfire. And then you protect your future patron board even better then.
Like overall, it feels like when you're playing Patron against Handlock, you generally would want a huge double whirlwind turn with, preferably with Frothing instead of the Patron, as that's more damage generally. And if he has, let's say, no taunt, which Lostov did have taunts technically in that scenario, you can, I guess, get him down to maybe 10, but you can never fully finish him off. So at this point, not going for the whirlwind, I kind of like that as. I mean, him having 3 Dark Bombs or something like that is just unlikely. It'll come down to Hellfire or not. And you can still go for, let's say, 4 minions with the Frothing next turn if he does end up drawing the War Song.
So still gets a Giant here.
Yeah.
He still gets a Giant here at least, but it's dangerous though, isn't it? They said the Frothing Berserker can burst you just out of nowhere. Sometimes it's one of the scary threats of Patron. Not just the patrons, but what the Frothing is capable of as well.
Yeah, I actually have to say I don't like that tap at all. He could have gone for Hellfire and Molten Giant anyway. I mean, Lostov was so far ahead, he didn't need to take a risk. 2 health can be the difference between life and death, as we saw last series with this coming so close down to with when Orange was playing against the Handlock of Lostov. Lostov had only 2 health left that time, and this tap here, going for the Molten instead of the Mountain, could have been the difference there.
Although he does, he has another Giant, he can Sun Fury that as well. He has a Belcher. I think Lostov is still far ahead, but like you said, taking a bit more of a risky line of play there.
Yeah, it's a difference between 85% chance to win and 99% chance to win. You're probably gonna win anyway, but it's just a safer route. In this case, though, there's really no reason to tap. You kind of just want to taunt up, go for the Mountain, I'd say. Probably even go face. Threaten lethal next turn.
Oh, he taps again.
He doesn't need to. There's no reason.
He just has no fear here. He'll just tap as much as he wants. He threatens, like you said, he's gone for face here. He threatens lethal. Xixo's gonna have to find an answer to deal with 2 Giants right now, and I'm pretty sure he's used at least 1 Execute.
Yeah, I mean, he has everything he needs to finish off the game here. The only scenario that he would be losing may be a brawl into a War Song or something, which is unlikely, but it's possible, with 10 health, he has a slightly better chance to survive that overall. But we do see Xixo losing as expected in game number 1 here, so Lostov takes a free win with that Handlock. Looking at the lineup, so Lostov needs to win with Druid, which should be generally a bit rough against the mid-lock. Yes, it shouldn't be too hard against the Patron. I think if Lostov gets a win with the Druid, he's pretty set to take this series, but, you know, Xixo, I wonder what he's going to go for this game.
And he queues into the Druid, so it's going to be another Druid mirror. This was the mirror that decided Xixo versus Nyria.
Indeed here. Now, we do see Lostov with the Wild Growth, but Xixo with the Innovate. It depends on the hand, how fast the hands are. Innovate can often be better than Wild Growth, but on average, I feel like Wild Growth is a stronger card in this game. Now, I remember before it was all about Innovate Yeti, but now it's all about Innovate Shade here. So Xixo looks to be dropping that on turn 1 here.
So Xixo's actually going to get 2 shades eventually, and the Druid's not going to be able to deal with them unless Xixo decides to reveal it. But this is what makes the combo so much more deadly as well, having these shades kind of sitting in the back, building up to like 7-8, and they only can reveal when the combo comes down.
I mean, the thing is, you know, for unlucky players like myself, you know, you often just end up losing these shades to a Doomsayer from that turn 4 sweater. That's actually really, like, suspiciously common when I'm playing Druid, I have to say. So I haven't been playing Druid a lot recently because of that. But now Keeper phase is actually, I think, probably the right call here. I was talking about this yesterday in the scenario where you have really, it's basically the difference I'd say between, you know, the good and the great players is, I feel like if Lostov had more experience, he would have gone with the Keeper phase there. As you know, we see turn 4 Keeper phase, he has a 5 drop, a 6 drop, and a 7 drop. When he draws with the Ancient of Lore, he's probably going to have a lot better options. So best case scenario, Lostov would have been using the Keeper on turn 8, maybe 9, you know? And by that point, he's drawn like 5 other cards, so he has probably better options. So I think, you know, I think it's likely that you actually won't have used the Keeper at all. Could possibly go for it here for the 4/4.
It's like you were saying, the Keeper's value in this matchup isn't as great as it would be against another deck. And the Keeper generally only silences stuff like Sylvanas, maybe a Taunt if you want to push through to the lethal or push some damage through. Shredder's not too bad either, but like you said, at this point, I think he needed something on board just to put a threat out. I mean, Keeper's not a big body minion by any case, but at least it's something. And now Lostov is dealing with 2 shades here, and he's got to make a decision now. Does he silence one, or does he taunt? But this taunt will probably get punched through because these shades are starting to grow.
The reason why Xixo revealed the 1 shade there was he thought, okay, Lostov will only have 5 mana to work with. No matter what, if he goes for a swipe on my shade, if he goes for a silence on my shade, or plays a Druid of the Claw, it's all gonna come out about even for me. So I might as well get the 4 damage in. If he had an Innovate here, it would have been huge, but the silence might actually come in a bit handy now. I think, though, kind of the counter to the shades is Sylvanas. Same with the Brawl in the Warrior matchup. So I really like Sylvanas just dropping onto the field here.
Oh, and he clears the Shredder. Okay, so the Shredder gives him a Mistress of Pain. Not the best thing. You always want a Millhouse, I suppose. Well, it could have been a Doomsayer. I guess that would have thrown things off. I mean, like, the thing with Shredder is, as random as it is, it's created some amazing sets. I mean, the DreamHack set between Nyria and Dog, with the Shredders dropping the Orchid Show, that was incredible. Like, it's such an interesting card because it makes such a dynamic to the board and makes these players kind of have to think outside the box. But we just have a cat here. I can't actually see. I can see Sylvanas. I guess both shades are still there. So we're having a bit of a spectator issue here.
Yeah, it looks like the 5 health one did go into the Druid of the Claw here. Seems like, yeah, the forms are bucking us out of here a bit. But overall, last turn, I really dislike his idea of running into the shade. Xixo could technically have, ran the 5/5 into the Druid of the Claw, putting him down to 1 health. You could have ran the 1/4 into the Sylvanas and the 6/2 into the Sylvanas as well. So essentially, the only thing that that Lostov will steal with Sylvanas is a 5/1, which could have been wrapped, But this is, I guess, more the aggressive approach here. A bit more dangerous overall.
Yeah, that Druid of the Claw upset the balance a little bit there for Lostov. He ended up paying off. He had to use the Force of Nature. The Druid of the Claw didn't let him trade his Sylvanas away, so it died and got his Death Rattle. So he had to use the combo there to make sure he got a decent steal. But it was still a 50-50. He could have still walked away with a 1/4, which would have just been horrible. I don't think Xixo, although he's lost his 5/5 here, he's going to respond with his own Force of Nature, actually. So he doesn't want to see this grow.
I don't mind this, but now Lostov is just way ahead. That 50-50 there did really not go in Xixo's favor. So Lostov is actually not only even in this game, but actually ahead now, as he can drop the Druid with the Claw and the Shade here. Now, I want to explain why you should rather go for the Druid with the Claw and the Shade. The reason is, Druid doesn't gain as much from having 10 cards. Let's say if you're playing Rogue and you have 10 cards, you can speed up your hand a lot with preps and backstabs and eviscerates. But with Druid, you essentially have enough cards to play the next 5 rounds on full mana. So in that case, you should just play the fastest possible line of play. And in this case, it's faster to play the Druid and the Shade than the just Ancient of Lore.
Yeah, and then another thing with Druid as well, you want a big board. You want to be... Lostov will want to start threatening lethal in the next 2-3 turns with potential Force of Nature Savage Roar. So the best way you can do that to maybe try and convince Xixo he's got it is by developing a bigger board, which puts more pressure on Xixo for using removal and trading inefficiently and stuff like that. So like you said, it's better for him to play faster and develop this board, because having drawn, if he had played Ancient of Lore and drawn 2 new cards, what would he have drawn which would have changed anything? Nothing.
Yes, probably only innovate. Could innovate out the Shade anyway, but now it does have the BJ, so Xixo, I guess, went from being way ahead to kind of decent amount behind.
This big aim hunter is gonna swing it so hard for Lostov here. Xixo's gonna need to find something to be able to deal with this board. Some good boom bots could change this around now. If he's able to clear Gleespite. Oh, wow. Yeah, so yeah, it's looking even bleaker now, I think.
It really is. I think it comes down to how you want to play around Sylvanas. I myself often prefer, I guess, just making a huge board if you don't have the silence, and giving the Sylvanas maybe a 50-50 to get a good call and a 50-50 to get a horrible minion, and just kind of dilute it like that. Whereas Xixo seems to be more in favor of just going for face and letting Sylvanas get its value and taking a bit bigger chance in case of his opponent having the removal to make a great Sylvanas turn happen. And in this case, Lostov did really have the removal, and it really didn't work out for Xixo. Whereas last game when he did go for face, it really did pay off, and he won the game. So not as consistent here.
Very much like high risk, high reward play. But it looks like Lostov here is drawing more cards, and it's going to make his Hearthstone very efficient next turn, because he's going to have so many cards which he's going to reduce. And Xixo still has to fight off a 5/5 and a 4/4 on board with nothing, and he's just thrown away 2 Wraths. It's looking really rough for him right now.
Yeah, I guess this is what happens on patch day, the day after a patch with the observer mode. This is are kind of known for that, yeah. The EU server, if you've seen that hilarious YouTube clip, the EU server sometimes just, yeah. he gets a bit aggressive and messes up the mode there. So, but Lostov just has every possibility of dominating here. I kind of actually like Keeper, Thorazon, Innovate, and Wrath.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for it, I think.
What if you go for 1 or 3? You go for the 1. You don't need the draw, buddy. You can just...
He's really greedy with these draws, isn't he?
Yeah, at this point, I mean... Okay, you can go for the swipe, Innovate Emperor, but it's still... Like, I would have preferred having the swipe in hand and the Keeper on the board. Because it's 6 more burst potential next turn. Versus this 1 draw. I mean, what is he going to do with this rag? It's only an out for Xixo to get back into the game with a big hunter, as unlikely as that is. But this is, yeah, sadly just an impossible scenario for Xixo. And, you know, it comes down to weaving when to use, when to, I guess, play into the Sylvanas or when to just ignore it. And I think Xixo made the perfect play last series when he was playing against Naria about ignoring it. But I think in this case against Lostov, he should probably... He had the options to just run into it. And I guess not play the Druid and give him a 5-1. Which you could have then wrathed into. I think, you know, that's a better play in the scenario. But Lostov going up 2-0, looking to advance here to the round of 8 with only 1 more game to go. His last deck looks to be what? Was it Warrior? I think it's Warrior, yeah.
Oh, Lostov's. Isn't it Mid-Hunter?
Okay, yeah, they have the cam switched. Okay, so it's Mid-Hunter. Mid-Hunter is excellent against Druid. It's not the best against Midlock, and it's actually slightly unfavorable against Patron. Depends a lot on draw. Having the coin is a huge thing in this matchup, so we see Lostov with the Mid-Hunter looking to go 0-3 against Xixo. Big upset here from Lostov.
Yeah, and he's the underdog of this tournament. He had the qualifier for this, so he didn't get an invite. So if Lostov was take this, I think he'd be very happy, you know, in line to compete in the next part of the tournament for the $9,900.
But overall, yeah, it feels a bit interesting. He's had in game 1 he had the great matchup and the right pick. I think Xixo should not have picked the Warrior first. But in game 2, I mean, he just had the auto win with that draw. It felt such a nice draw from Lostov, and how these hands turned out. Xixo could have, I guess, played a bit differently. But okay, so Savannah is a key card here. Lostov's hand is decent. Yeah, you actually keep Savannah Hyman in the opening hand. I think when it comes down to the mulligan, there's a few mulligans that are really rough to figure out. As generally, you know, you just go for the 1-drop, 2-drop, and the 3-drop. But the few scenarios are, yeah, against Hunter, with the Mid-Hunter, against Priest, against Control Warrior, against Druid, you do keep the Savannah. When you're playing Druid, you keep the Ancient of Lore against Control Warrior, against Priest, because you figure if you can go into the late game, you can just win out with the Ancient of Lore for that insane value. But the invates on the Leopardome is decent. It's not as good as as the possibility of a Taskmaster, which goes 2 for 1 in most scenarios.
Yeah, he has to deal with it though. He doesn't want this Druid to, this Hunter to kind of spin out control. And looking at Xixo's hand here, he really needs to find a weapon. But at least his Frothing Berserker will challenge this Knife Juggler. And if a knife hits it, he might have to use Knife Juggler to trade, unless he's feeling really aggressive, Lostov. Because it looks like I thought it looked like Hybrid Hunter because we saw the Leopardome, but now we see a Hindmaster as well. So maybe he's just playing those Leopardomes to throw off his opponent of what type of hunter he's playing.
I actually think here just dropping the Hunter Creeper is the right call.
I mean, if
he
target next turn, then
it is. But if he gets killed, he also has the option to just play the Paladin Sweater into coin Hymen, which is an excellent line of play. The thing is, if he coins the Sweater right now, what's he gonna do next turn? He's gonna have to rely on either just doing nothing and then possibly nothing on turn 5. I mean, Yeah, this is rough. He did hit with the knife juggler, but still, I don't agree with this at all from Lostov.
Yeah, setting up the Haunted Creeper, it's such a sticky minion anyway, and the chance of it sticking to the board was probably pretty high. And then you'd have a Hindmaster, a good Hindmaster target there, and like you said, turn 5 then he has the high main, so he just boosts the power of his board so fast. Xixo might have struggled to deal with it because Xixo didn't really have anything to play that turn.
I mean, think about the scenario I was talking about. We could now have had a Haunted Creeper on board. He could play the Houndmaster and have the coin high main for next turn. But he does actually get rewarded for this, as he did top deck the Mad Scientist. But this would have been so horrible if he just had to hero power. Because next turn, you know, let's say that the Haunted Creeper gets killed, he can't really go for the Houndmaster at all.
Well, Xixo's got an option to kill it here, but he just goes for the Shredder. I mean, Creepers...
It is the correct play, yeah.
Yeah, Creepers, you do want to get rid of them, but the problem is they're a bit of a nuisance. Like, you want to clear the 1/1s as well, generally. But it's... Right now, if I was Xixo and I was looking at this game, I've seen Lepidome, so I'm thinking, oh, this is hybrid. So if Lostov does drop the Hindmaster now, I would be quite surprised at Xixo because I've seen Lepinomes, not web spinners. So he's not. If you knew a Hindmaster was coming next turn, would you clear the Haunted Creeper or the Shredder?
It's a tough call, really. But I think here, what do you think about, I guess, Houndmaster versus Lothar? I think I would have preferred the Houndmaster.
I think so, because you force the axe on the Creeper, and you get 2 1/1s. Oh, no, the Creeper would pop, wouldn't it? What was played first?
Sorry?
Was the Creeper played before the or after the Deathbite?
Creeper was played first, yeah. And then the Deathbite, so the 1/1s, the Haunted. The Spectral Spiders would have actually been killed, but not a lot of options for Xixo here. Let's say he goes for the Lothar. All the 3 minions are still alive, but he'll get a godly hand as soon as he could get the Patron rolling. I guess in hindsight, with the Execute in the hand, this is gonna work out better for Lostov, but I think you have to kind of combine this with the scenario. You know, Lostov can't know what Xixo has in his hand. I think in general the other play would have been better in this case, but I think in this case he may need to use the Unleash.
If he uses the Unleash, he still has the Animal Companion as well, which is good. As tempting it is to drop the high main, clearing everything as efficiently as possible is the best thing to do here. You can't leave the Frothing alive, and you can't leave the Warsong alive. So, okay,
that's absolutely the case here. I think he's looking at the Houndmaster. It's not horrible, but I mean, I don't know about this though. Like, he has so much damage, and Xixo's only on 13 health that he could have put him down so far. If he just gets a Leok or a Huffer. If he gets a Huffer, you can just go face. Probably Leok as well, you can just go face. But yeah, Xixo just ends up forfeiting here. So Lostov taking a 3-0 massive upset here against Xixo. He just had the stronger lineup really, and also I guess the stronger deck picks. Although I do have to say that Xixo made fewer mistakes overall in this series. So sad to see him go down to the Roosters match. We're gonna have up next, I believe it's Orange versus Naria.
Yeah, so Xixo still has an opportunity to qualify through his group, but I'm impressed with Lostov. He came up through the qualifiers, didn't get invited, and here he is. He's going to the next stage of the tournament where he'll have a shot at winning at least $4,000. So that's turned out really well for him. He should be very happy with that performance. So we're going to have the next game coming up for you very shortly. If you just stick around for about 10 minutes, we'll have that game ready, and we'll see you soon.
esportsbets.com, the service where gamers will bet real money on virtual events. Only here, the best odds and widest coverage of games from Dota 2 to Hearthstone. We have over 200,000 users registered. Join us. Prove that you are the best versed in esports. Who will get the first blood? Who will take the first Roshan? Who will win the knife round? Participate in the race of predictors and earn real money. The more bids, the more bonuses. Reward for your first deposit up to $600. esportsbets.com. Foresight, passion,